Steve, we had talked about a great derby win, the Rocks derby, against Russell. But I think for you it must have been pleased, not just the fact that we won, but also the manner of the performance and the fact it was a deserved win.
Delighted to win, delighted to get the clean sheet, delighted to give everyone something to smile about after a bit of a poor week, previous game. So
Yeah, because like you hinted at, I don't think anybody, if they're being honest, saw that performance and win and saw it coming because, again, being brutally honest, last week against Corinthians was probably one of our worst performances for a long time. So, I mean, what did you must have worked on stuff during the week with them and talked to them to get them, it's a 180-degree turn. What were you doing during the week to get ready? Because that was so different.
Yeah, very quickly, just recognise I do not want to come across with like sour grapes. We were poor against Corinthians, but Corinthians were also good and they were good value for it. They had 3 draws out of 4 coming into us and they just battered someone 7-1 on Saturday. So massive credit to Keith and that just shows that if you can get a group of people together, which he quite clearly has, you've got every chance. So I do not want it to come across like we just feel like we were terrible. Corinthians more than played their part in that win and fair play. We were poor, having said all that, and it was an opportunity for us to just all have a look in the mirror at not just our performances on the pitch, but our preparation, us as management team, the boys, and we had quite an honest sort of debrief about that one, and we've then had a very good week of preparation. Some of that might be because of the occasion. The boys have probably been prepared to do a little bit more for me because they all wanted to play part, with it being the Vars, with it being Rust Hall. But we've managed to have 2 very well attended training sessions. We've managed to get some very good intel on Rust Hall video, which we were able to absorb. We come up with a plan which we felt gave us the best opportunity, and the boys have actually took it on board and carried it out. But it's a 1-0 win. So fine margins, Josh Reed, his shot goes in, we're sitting there having a completely different conversation. So that's football, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's interesting you hinted at the tactics, because I thought you got your tactics spot on. First half we managed to attack them down the hill. Second half when they come back, we defended on whole and solid. I mean, what were the things that you might not want to say it on camera, but you wanted to nullify and that you're pleased you nullified and your plan worked?
What I was saying, this is meant as a compliment wholeheartedly, Rust Hall have a way of playing which they're very consistent with, and I don't blame them because it's been working exceptionally well for them. But it was, if you can be pretty confident you're going to play someone who's going to do this, well, you can then look at, well, how can we combat that? And we came up with a plan to do that. I don't even know if people are really interested in the points of that, but we managed to carry it out quite well. Our shape out of possession had to be good. How we kind of threatened their goal. Let's be honest, we played Demando and Regan up front because we believed mobility would have been the best way to exploit the spaces that they leave. We tried to condense the middle of the pitch because I feel like that's where Rust Hall like to try and build their attacks from. And everyone done well. I just cut that call off, but
I think the important thing was just to set up was the team. So I was really pleased when I saw that lineup, but you did make some changes. I mean, what was the thinking behind that?
Again, last week at Corinthians, we did rotate a couple of players because I felt people deserved an opportunity. I didn't go particularly well. We tried something different on how we set up as well, which didn't really work. So we kind of went back to tried and tested this week. Obviously from our point of view, massive that Tommy was back available after the birth of his daughter. So that was big for us. Knew that we had some big decisions to make because literally everybody's been at training, shock, because they want to make sure they're involved. There was a few shirts up for grabs. and we had to make some big decisions after training on Thursday. Felt like a couple of people probably played themselves into the starting lineup. Some fine,
some big changes like you put Matt Black and Jack through in the midfield and through the middle.
Yeah,
and that was changes, and that along with a couple of the tweaks, like you say, bringing Tom back, just seemed to really click because. Well, I don't mean this. You would never say this. I can say it because I'm just a fan. But I don't mean it disrespectfully. But it looked like all our guys got. It was a derby, and they had to give everything. Whereas I think Russ Dawn, there was a few of them. Yeah, they played derbies, but I don't think they quite got what that derby meant. And they just played how they were normally going to play. Didn't adapt. Just carried on. And I think we have to give credit to our guys that everybody gave. It wasn't just during training. They gave it during the game. They attacked and defended and gave everything.
I'll agree with you on that. And I think whenever we've played well, it's been because of our intensity in and out of possession. I don't know. I mean, you shouldn't have to motivate anyone to play in a derby. That's point number one. But I don't know. I wouldn't say that I thought Bristol were lacking in that department personally. You know, I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I thought it was a very closely contested game. The form book would have said that they had the better chance of winning it. Yeah. And I completely said that. But like I said to the boys in the changing room, they have been consistently very good. But if you look at our peaks of our season, of which there's been 3 or 4, by the way, if we play to that level, I don't think there's much in this. And that was how it was. So we knew we had to be at our best. Maybe look, no one turns up thinking I ain't got to be at my best today when there's 800 people watching, not unless you're some sort of idiot. Yeah. So I just think it's a very close game.
I think it was maybe so. Well, let's look at the first half, where I think it's been honest again to say we edged that and we had some good chances. So did they, but I think we probably edged that. Yeah, in the first half.
I think throughout the course of the game, their goalkeeper was probably busier than us. Bence has had to do all of his work well. Yeah. He has had to, allegedly, according to him, he's got a finger on Josh's shot, so we'll give him that one.
Yeah, great save.
Yeah, he also had to make one in the second half from James Miles, a little bit speculative outside the box, but he's dealt with it well. He's come and punched, he's come and been dominant in and around his 6-yard box, so he's done his work very well. On the other hand, I would say first half, Demando's gone through 1v1-ish. I mean, it's a little bit of an angle, but he's worked through him very, he's had to be his best. Rory's then gone through 1-on-1, and I think that's the best save of the game. Dee's then rolled one across the box, which Blackie and Reg just failed to get on the end of. Second half, Demando's worked him again. So, and then there's obviously the goal. So I think the huddle said we had 8 good shots on target.